The first grave was found open on a Thursday morning. At first, people assumed it was animals. The soil was disturbed, the flowers scattered, the wooden coffin lid cracked from the inside. From the inside, the body of an old man, buried 2 days earlier, was gone. Police sealed the area and told the media it was grave robbers, organ traffickers, ritual groups, anything that sounded logical, anything that kept people calm. But by Sunday, 9 more graves had been opened. Every single one belonged to someone buried within the last week. No drag marks, no footprints, no blood, just empty coffins, and deep scratch marks carved into the wood from the inside, as if someone had woken up in the dark and tried to claw their way out. The city tried to move on. Then the blackout happened. At exactly 2:13 a.m., the entire city lost power. Not just a few blocks, not just a neighborhood, the whole city. Streetlights died, houses went black, cell service dropped. The kind of darkness that feels heavy, pressing against your eyes. Dogs began barking all at once. Then, just as suddenly, they stopped. Total silence. At 5:40 a.m., the power returned. People checked their security cameras out of habit. Every camera froze at the same timestamp, 2:17 a.m. Then the footage resumed. A light mist rolled through the streets, and out of that mist figures appeared. They were walking, slowly, stiffly, arms hanging straight down, heads slightly tilted forward, clothes covered in dirt, bare feet dragging, eyes wide open, unblinking. They weren't wandering. They were heading somewhere specific. Home. One camera on Maple Street showed Mrs. Alvarez, buried 3 days earlier after a heart attack. She walked up to her front door. She stood there, motionless, for almost 2 full minutes. Then the porch light flickered, though the power was still out. The door unlocked from the inside. It opened just enough. She stepped in. The door closed. When police arrived later that morning, the house was locked from the inside. Her son and daughter-in-law were found dead in their bedroom. No wounds, no blood, just expressions frozen in pure terror. And on the wall above their bed, written in wet soil, "We couldn't leave alone." Reports flooded in across the city. Every body that had gone missing from the cemetery had returned to its house. Every house had the same outcome. The dead were gone again. The living were not alive anymore. And in every home, somewhere on a wall, floor or mirror, the same message appeared. "You let us in." The mayor ordered the cemetery sealed in concrete. Graves reinforced, guards posted, floodlights installed. The city told itself it was over. 3 nights passed peacefully. On the 4th morning, emergency lines were overwhelmed. No new graves had been opened. Instead, bedrooms were empty. Front doors still locked from the inside. Windows sealed. No signs of forced entry. Entire families gone from their beds. And on the bedroom walls, scratched deep into the paint, the same sentence over and over. "Now it's your turn to open the door." That night, the power went out again. 2:13 a.m. Across the city, security cameras recorded something worse than before. People, living people, walking through the streets with the same stiff movements, the same tilted heads, the same unblinking eyes, heading toward houses that weren't theirs. One highway camera caught a final clear shot before the feed glitched. A young man who had been reported missing that morning stopped walking. Slowly, he turned his head toward the camera. He stared directly into the lens. And he smiled. The video cut to static. Authorities never released the rest of the footage. They only issued one warning. If someone who shouldn't be alive knocks on your door, do not open it. And if you hear knocking tonight, make sure it's coming from outside. If this story unsettled you even a little, hit like. Subscribe for more dark stories that shouldn't exist. Share this with someone who says they're not afraid. And in the comments, tell me, if the power goes out at 2:13 a.m., will you check the door?